Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. XRP Army, get ready. Ripple is about to be sued by the SEC. Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple just released a statement saying they received a letter of intent from the SEC, basically telling them, get ready, we're about to sue you. So why is this happening? Well, the SEC believes that Ripple has been selling unregistered security tokens since 2012. So in this video, I want to talk about the role of SEC. Who are they? Why are they investigating Ripple? Why do they think XRP is an unregistered security token? And also discuss what may happen to Ripple if they lose this case. What are the consequences, and have there been other cases similar to this? Well, let's get started. Okay, first, let's look at this article from the Wall Street Journal, Ripple to face SEC suit over XRP cryptocurrency. And then underneath, agency, whose chairman is leaving soon, claimed the company violated investor protection laws when it sold a Bitcoin-like digital asset. Now, I think that's important too, because they purposely wrote whose chairman is leaving soon. And in case you didn't know who that is, that's Jay Clayton from the SEC, who declared recently that he is leaving the agency at the end of 2020. So what does that mean? Well, that means that they're opening this lawsuit and Jay Clayton is basically leaving to his predecessor to take over. And we don't know who that person is and what kind of stance they will have. Are they going to have stricter restrictions and stricter protocols against cryptocurrency companies? Or is that person more favorable? We don't know. So that's the interesting thing, that Jay Clayton decided to do this now, right? Right before he's about to leave. In fact, about just 1 week before he's about to leave, right? So kind of interesting. This is kind of like his last gift to not only Ripple, but to the cryptocurrency world. Okay, moving on. It says that the lawsuit revolves whether XRP, a digital asset that the company launched in 2012, is actually a security that should have been registered with the SEC. Registration involves providing the SEC and the public with disclosures about a company's business model, risk, and financial condition. The SEC reviews the disclosures and provides feedback to improve them for investors. So what's different about Ripple is the fact that it has been out much longer than some of these other companies that came up during 2017, right? ICO craze of 2017, obviously the SEC went after a lot of them, and I'm going to talk about some of them that the SEC actually sued. But Ripple and XRP has been around much longer, right? 2012, that's only a few years after Bitcoin's inception. So it's a very difficult case because XRP wasn't just sold one time like all these other companies did in 2017. They were sold consistently every quarter, every year. So it's a little bit different, right? Now, a little history lesson of Ripple and XRP for those of you guys that don't know. The XRP ledger was built in 2011 and 2012 by Jed McCaleb, Arthur Brito, and Dave Swartz. In September of 2012, Jed and Arthur, along with Chris Larson, formed Ripple. At that time, it was called OpenCoin Inc. Interesting enough, David Swartz did not open or form Ripple along with Jed and Arthur. And then they decided to gift 80 billion out of the 100 billion XRP to Ripple in exchange for Ripple developing on the XRP ledger. Interesting how that works, right? Basically, it's the same founders, but they gifted themselves 80 billion XRP to develop on this ledger. And since then, the company has been regularly selling XRP to strengthen XRP markets, improve network liquidity, and incentivize developments of the greater ecosystem. And in 2017, the company placed 55 billion XRP in escrow so that it's more predictable, people can see it, and again, it's being used for incentivizing development and the ecosystem. So that's the history, that's the tie between Ripple and XRP. Even though they are two different entities, XRP Ledger is its own entity and Ripple is its own entity. As you can see, they're very, very close ties. Now, I mentioned about the 80 billion that was gifted. Well, right now, Ripple still owns 6.4 billion XRP directly. That's how much they control. And then they have another 48 billion held in escrow, right? So since 2017, they obviously been selling some of this in escrow. But if you add it up, right, if you add up the 6.4 billion with 48 billion, that is more than 50. So that means Ripple themselves control over 50% of the XRP tokens that's out there. Now let's talk about SEC. Why are they going after Ripple? Well, what is the role of SEC in case you're not aware? Well, the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, has three-part mission: protect investors, maintain fair and orderly, efficient markets, and facilitate capital formation. And according to this, Congress created the SEC after the Great Depression, after 1929, because there was not a lot of confidence with the US markets, so they decided to form the SEC. And the main purpose for the SEC is to look at companies offering securities for sale to the public and making sure that they are telling truth about their business, the securities they're selling, and the risks involved. And also look at those who sell and trade securities, such as brokers, dealers, and exchanges, and making sure they treat their investors fairly and honestly. As you can see, this is the reason why SEC is going after Ripple, because they believe XRP is a security. It's been sold all these years, and Ripple has not been disclosing to the SEC in terms of the business, how they're selling, their business practice, right? Whether or not it's legit, whether or not it's fair and legit, and also the risks involved by buying XRP. So this is the reason why SEC is going after them. So why does the SEC think XRP is a security, and why Ripple sold XRP as a security token? Well, here's the definition of a security. For the holder, a security represents an investment as an owner, creditor, or rights to ownership on which the person hopes to gain profit. Examples are stocks, bonds, and options. That last part, the person hopes to gain profit, that is the thing. That is the biggest definition of what a security is. If you are buying XRP in hopes to gain profit, okay, and Ripple is also selling that XRP, giving you that promise that it will gain in value over time, then it's declared as a security, right? This is the reason why the SEC believes XRP is a security, because of this, that they believe Ripple sold XRP, leading on investors to think that XRP will gain over time. And investors are led to believe that way, which is why they buy XRP, because they believe it will go up over time, right? This is why the XRP army thinks that XRP will go up to $589 someday and everyone will become a billionaire, because they are buying it in hopes of gaining profit, right? You see why the SEC wants to sue Ripple now? So lastly, I want to talk about other cases that's similar to this. First, we have EOS, which raised billions upon billions of dollars with their year-long ICO. They've been battling with the SEC for years, and finally they did settle in 2019. Basically, it's a slap in the wrist. Slap in the wrist. They were ordered to pay $24 million for unregistered ICO. That's it. 24 million out of the billions they raised, it's a slap in the wrist, right? EOS is still operating. Nothing happened. They didn't have to change or anything like that. Basically, they paid a fine and that's it. They're not the only ones. Tezos, also the same thing. Tezos raised $232 million in 2017, right? Very similar to EOS. And basically, they battled the SEC in a lawsuit for years upon years. So basically 3 years. And they also settled for $25 million. So only $1 more million than EOS. Kick is a much smaller company, but they also had this problem. They were sued by the SEC, and finally, after 3 years, they settled. Kick raised $100 million in ICO, and they were only ordered to pay $5 million, right? Kick was saying that they will go bankrupt and all this stuff. They didn't think they could win the lawsuit, but they did. But it doesn't always work out. Remember, the SEC also went after Telegram for their TON token. So they raised $1.7 billion, and unfortunately, Telegram just gave up on the lawsuit. I don't know what happened in this case, why it was different. It seemed like it was very similar, but basically Telegram, they decided to give up. They didn't even settle. So they just basically returned the money and they just canceled the whole thing, which is really weird. But still, it kind of shows you not everything ends up with a slap on the wrist. Sometimes the projects, they just give up and they go away. So to conclude, I believe Ripple's lawsuit will be ongoing for the next 2, 3, 4 years, just like the one with EOS and Tezos and Kick. But the good news is they were all settled, and the dollar amount is very, very tiny compared to what those projects actually raised within their ICO periods. EOS about 24 million, Tezos 25 million. That's a slap in the wrist compared to their overall market cap. So I believe the same thing is going to happen to Ripple. They will settle probably at a larger and higher amount. So what are your thoughts about this? Will they win in court or lose in court? And if they lose, what will happen to Ripple and XRP? Leave your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for my next video. And while you're waiting, check out these 2 other videos.